In this video series, you're going to learn how you can make money blogging. Now, before we get into the exact methods, I want to talk about what you must have to make a successful blogging business. First of all, you're going to need a good layout. A layout that is easy for people to get around on and find what you're trying to show them. You need good content that is constantly updated. That's self-explanatory. People will come to your blog if they feel that you have decent content that they want to read. Have a decent amount of traffic. And that goes without saying. If you get a decent amount of traffic, you will make some money. If you don't get any traffic, of course, you're not going to. And we're going to go over traffic methods in this video series. And the other thing you need is a good monetization strategy. There are a couple things that you can do on a blog to make a decent amount of money without having to work too hard at it. Okay, so those are the things we need to talk about in this video series. Okay, the first thing we're going to need to do is install our blog. And the system we're going to use for blogging is WordPress. The reason we're going to use WordPress is that it has so many things that people have created for you that you can use that it makes your job easier, and they're called plugins. And what will happen is we'll be able to make our blog search engine friendly as well as semi-automate the process of bringing in content. So you should have a niche in mind already. It doesn't matter what niche you're going to target. It should be something that you know something about or are passionate about. That always helps when you're trying to write your own articles. The other thing you can do is find out what's popular just by doing a search on the Google keyword tool for some ideas and see what kind of search traffic you're getting. We're not going to go too much into niche research. We're going to go into the mechanics of creating a blog that will get good traffic and make you good money no matter what niche you target. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is go to wordpress.org and download the newest version of WordPress. So just click on download WordPress and then download the most current version. At this time it's 2.85, but it doesn't really matter what version you're using. So just go ahead and download it. Just click here and download it to your computer. Okay, once you have it downloaded, what you want to do is you want to unzip the files in the WordPress zip folder here. So all you have to do is click on it and use the built-in unzip tool in Windows, or what you can do is you can download a free one called 7-zip. Just do a search on 7-zip and you can download it. And then if you right click, you can go here's 7-zip and extract files. So you can use either one. And then we'll just click OK and that'll extract all the files for us. We now have an extracted directory. In there we have the WordPress directory, and within there we have all the WordPress files. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to upload all that to our server. Now of course you're going to need a domain name and hosting. There are many places where you can get domain names and hosting, and I've listed some in the resources document. Now once you have that all set up, you can upload your files. Now depending on what kind of domain name you bought, whether you bought a domain name with a specific use for your niche or whether you bought what I call a general purpose domain name, will depend on where you're going to upload WordPress. Now what I mean by those are a general purpose domain name is a domain name that you can use in any niche. It might be something like thebestinfoon.com, and then what you can do is in folders put your niche. So we have thebestinfoon.com and then slash, and if we're going to do dog training, we do /dog training. So you can put as many blogs as you want on one domain name if you do it that way. Now the other thing you can do is buy a specific domain name for your niche. So if we were doing dog training, we might have dogtraining.com. Now you're not likely to find that one, but you get the idea. You find one that fits in your niche. I'm going to use a general purpose domain name for our purposes here. Now in order to do this, you're going to need to download an FTP client if you don't already have one. And there's one called FileZilla that you can download for free. And you can use that to upload your files to your server. And this is what FileZilla looks like. On your left side, you can navigate to the file you want to upload or the folder. And on your right side is going to be where your server is. Now what you can do is you can just take the information that your hosting provider gave you to sign into your server. So you have your host, which is going to be your domain name, and then they will have assigned you a username and password for FTP or for your cPanel, and you can just put those in here and click Quick Connect, and it'll connect up for you. It also has a site manager. If you click File and Site Manager, it brings up the site manager, and in here you can store all your domain names. Just click on New Site and then fill out what you want in here. Okay, so I'm going to connect to my domain here. And then I need to go to the directory where my web documents have to preside. Your hosting provider will tell you this, and on this particular hosting provider it has to be in public_HTML. It may be htdocs or something else. It might be in the root directory. Your hosting provider is going to tell you that. So we'll go in here, just double click, and then we're going to create a directory. So if I right click here and create a directory, and then I'm going to call it what my niche is going to be. And in this case I'm going to do one on making candy. So making candy. So what I want to do is make sure that I have my main niche name within my domain. That's very important. So if your niche is making candy like mine is, that's what you need to have in your domain. If it was dog training, that's what you need to have in your domain somewhere. So that's what we're doing here. Using making candy. We'll click on that, and then we'll find our making candy directory in here. Double click on that. And then we can upload our WordPress files. So we go inside here, inside the WordPress directory, and then we have to select all these files. So all you have to do is click Control and then hold that down and then click the A button, and it will select everything. And now we right click our mouse and click Upload. And that'll upload all the WordPress files for us. Now this is going to take a few minutes because there are a number of files there. Okay, so now our queue is empty and everything is uploaded. Now all we have to do is put the URL to our blog in our browser and hit the Enter key, and that'll bring up the install wizard. So in this case it is thebestinfoon.info, which is my domain name, /making candy. So let's go key that in. Okay, and here it is here. So what we do, it tells us we need to create a configuration file. Now it'll try and do this for us, but as you see, it can't write to the directory. So what we have to do is temporarily change the permission of our directory. So let's go back. And then let's go back to our FTP client here. And then what we want to do is make our making candy directory writable temporarily. So let's go back to the directory before it. Find making candy. And we'll right click, do a file attributes, and then we need to make this 777, which is all the boxes clicked. Click OK. And now we can go back and create a configuration file. Okay, here it tells us we're going to need a database, and what we need to do is go and create one. And this isn't as difficult as it sounds. All we have to do is go to our cPanel or to whatever tool your host gives you that allows you to do that. So we'll sign into the cPanel here, and then we'll go create a database. So just go to MySQL databases in cPanel, and then we just create a database. So just as you can see, there's a bunch of them in here already, but we'll just call this candy. Click create database. We'll go back. Now we have to create a username and password to access a database. So we'll call this candy again, and then give a password here you can remember. We'll just go with password. And then we create our username. Just click here and then go back. And then you have to attach the username to the password, and to do that you just pick them out of the drop down list here. So they happen to be sitting right on the top here. Now you'll notice that there are some characters appended to the front here on both the database and the username, and that's just to identify it as belonging to this particular hosting account. So just add user to database after you've picked them both. Make sure all privileges are checked, and add user to database. Okay, your database is now ready to go. So all we have to do now, go back to WordPress and let's continue here. We just put our database name, username, and password in here. So we go back here. Our database name and username are the same here. This is our database name. We'll copy that whole string. This is our username. They happen to be the same, so we can just put them both in here. Database name, username. Password goes in here. And then localhost, that's the name of our host, and that's usually going to be right the way it is. If you just roll down here, you'll see that we have access host as localhost, so that's correct. 99% of the time that's correct. And then a table prefix, we can leave that as it is unless you're going to install multiple WordPress blogs in one database. If you're going to do that, you're going to need to change that for any blogs that you create after the first one. The first one can be WP, but if you're going to create more after that, you're going to have to change these characters at the front. Okay, and then we'll run the install. Okay, here we can give it a preliminary title. Okay, so here I put Making Candy the Fun and Easy Way. Notice that I have my main niche in the title. So make sure you do that as well. So you have it in your title, you have it in your domain name or in your subdomain name, and then you put your email in here. And make sure you got to allow my blog to appear in search engines. You're going to want that, and then click Install WordPress. Okay, here it gives you your username, and here is a temporary password. Make sure you copy that so you can sign in, and then you can change it after you log in the first time. So we'll click it, log in, then we'll click admin, and we'll put our password in here and log in. That password was also emailed to the email address that you entered there. That way, if you forgot to copy it down, at least it'll email it to you. Now what you want to do is change your password. It's warning you about that. So we'll just go and we'll give it a new password down here and update our profile. Okay, and it is now changed and our blog is installed. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to go change the permission back on our folder here. So Making Candy was our directory. Let's change that back to 755. 755. Click OK. That'll protect our directory, make sure nobody can get in there and mess around. Okay, so now our blog is installed. All we have to do now is start adding the plugins and theme that we need. We'll do that in the next video. Now we need to find a theme that's appropriate for our new blog. Now one place you can go is go to wordpress.org and then go to Extend, and then you can go to Themes directory. And here it gives you a huge list of themes that you can use. You'll see the most popular on the right over here, and you'll see the newest themes and recently updated. You can also go and do a search. Okay, so we'll just type in here Candy and see what comes up. Okay, and then we can go through these and see if there's one we like. So to view them, all we've got to do is click on the theme name here and then click on Preview. And you can see if there's something you like in there. Now, if you don't find anything in here, you can do a Google search. So you may also try your search at Google. So if you click on that, it'll come up and it'll do a Google search for you. And this actually does a search on the site itself. Okay, so it's just another way of searching within the site using Google. Now there's one more thing you can do, and that's do a regular Google search. So just go to google.com and you can search in there. Okay, and then in here we'll put Candy WordPress theme or something like that. Just put in your keyword and WordPress theme or free WordPress theme. There's several ways you can search it. Google search and then see what you can find in here. So those are all ways that you can find themes for your blog. Okay, so I didn't really find one I liked there, so I could do a different search. Let's say chocolate, like a related term. See what we find here. Okay, so I found a decent one here. Found the website, and usually you'll have a preview and a download. So you can do a preview, see if you like it. It should be easy to read and it should have a decent layout. You don't want anything that's all cluttered or that has too much image on the header or that is too jammed together. So this looks really good. So I'm going to use this one. So all I have to do now is download it. Okay, so we'll go to download. And then we'll save it to our directory here. Okay, so here's our zip file here. Inside there are the directory, and inside that are the files. So we need to do the same thing here. We're going to unzip it, extract the files. Then we need to go back to FileZilla. We'll reconnect here. We'll go into our Making Candy directory. Then we need to go to WP-content inside there. That's where all our content resides. In here we have plugins and themes, and that's where we upload these things. So we'll go into themes, and now we upload our theme into there. So we go back to our directory, and then we go inside here, and we upload the directory inside the main directory that we unzipped, because it's too deep. Okay, so we upload this 79 directory into here. Okay, so that's now all uploaded. Go back to our blog here, and now we go to appearance. Okay, as you see, the theme has shown up in here, so we just click on it. It'll preview it in the window for us, and we just activate it. Okay, and then we can visit the site, and here's what it looks like right now. We don't have any content on it, of course, other than the content that came with it. But that's what our blog is now going to look like as far as the theme's concerned. Now we need to install some plugins. The ones we're going to use are the all-in-one SEO pack, the Google Sitemap Generator. These help us get traffic and do search engine optimization automatically, and WP-O-Matic to semi-automate some of our content. Now to find the plugins, all you have to do is go to wordpress.org, go to Extend, and then Plugins directory. And then you can search for them in here. Now, in the most popular, you're usually going to find the Google Sitemap and the all-in-one SEO pack near the top. They're almost always there. So download those two. When you go click on them and go to the main site here, just click download and then save it to your directory. Okay, and then we'll go back. And then we need the all-in-one SEO pack. Same deal here. Save. And then we want to find WP-O-Matic. Okay, here it is here. Download. Okay, and at this point we now have all of our plugins in our directory. So again, what we need to do is unzip them. So if we click on that, Just make sure there's a directory inside a directory in all of these, which there is. Okay, so all we have to do, again, is extract them. There's all-in-one SEO pack, Google Sitemap Generator, and WP-O-Matic. Now you're probably wondering why we're using WP-O-Matic. No, we are not creating a blog that is all automated content. This is going to be a real blog, but we are going to automate some content, and I'll explain that further to you later. Okay, now let's go back to FileZilla. Let's find our files here. On this side, we need to go to the plugins directory inside WP Content. Okay, so we're in WP Content. We need to now go inside plugins. Then what we need to do is upload the all-in-one SEO pack. Okay, so we go inside the first directory and upload the directory inside it with all of these. That's usually going to be the case. Google Sitemap Generator, same deal there. And WP-O-Matic, same deal there. So we get all those uploaded. Okay, now those are all uploaded, so we go back to our blog. And now what we want to do is we want to go to plugins. And we're going to start activating these. So first we'll activate the all-in-one SEO pack. Just click on activate. Okay, and it says it has new options. Go to the admin page to enable and configure the plugin. Okay, so that's fine. We can go here. And then what you want to do is enable the plugin. And then you want to give it your home page title, a home page description, and home keywords. These are all for the home page. So you need to think about that. What you want to do for your title is basically make sure that your keyword is in there within the first few words. You also want your main keyword in the description and your main keyword in the meta keywords. Okay, so here's an example. Making candy the fast and easy way. I matched what my title of the blog. Down here, I just wrote a description. I made sure I had my keyword in here a couple times, as well as another keyword that describes my niche. And then down here, I used the most popular keywords for finding a site like this. Okay, now down here, you can leave all of this alone. You don't need to touch anything else in here. So we'll just update the options. And then what we want to do, we need to go back to plugins now. And we'll activate the XML sitemap. Just click activate there. And then we'll activate WP-O-Matic. Okay, now we'll go to settings. Well, first of all, we need to change our tagline here. So let's do that. Just put something in there that describes your site better than just another WordPress weblog. Okay, so put have fun making your own candy and chocolate. Okay, and then while we're in here, you can decide if you want people to be able to register or not. That's entirely up to you. Set your time zone here. And that's really all you need to do. So save the changes there. And now we need to go back and change our plugins here. So first we'll go into XML sitemap. Now what you need to do here, you need to go back into the FTP program. You need to go to the directory where your blog resides. So in my case, it's making candy. And now what we need to do is we need to create a directory for the sitemap. So we do a create directory and just call it sitemap. And then find sitemap, right click on it, go to file attributes, and then put 777 in here. Now the reason we're doing this is because the directory that the sitemap files are in has to be writable. And if you don't do it this way, you have to leave your whole blog directory open as writable, and you don't want to do that. So we created one called sitemap. We'll go back here, and what we'll do is we'll roll down to the location of your sitemap files. What you want to do here is click custom location, and then right before you see sitemap.xml, you got to insert the directory. So we call it sitemap/sitemap.xml. Okay, so when you're done, it should have your URL in it, sitemap that you just added /sitemap.xml. So basically all you did was add a sitemap and a slash in there in front of that. Okay, and then you got to do the same thing here. So after that slash, type in sitemap and put another slash in there. Okay, so that's what you're trying to do there. Down here, you want to include your categories, include your archives, and include your tag pages. Okay, and then that's really all we need to do here. Just update the options. And then what we want to do, we're going to want to build the sitemap. We'll wait till we get our first content in there before we do that. We don't really want to build a sitemap with the content that's in there right now. Okay, so our plugins are all installed. We have WP-O-Matic here, but we're not going to actually install this yet. We're not quite ready for that. We're going to set this up when we get to that point. Okay, so that is it for installing plugins. In the next video, we'll go over a little bit more of the blog setup. Okay, now before we can start putting content on our blog, there are several things we need to do to get it ready to go. First thing you're going to want to do is we're going to want to remove all the content that's on it. If we look at this blog right now, you'll see that it has just the example posts on it and comments. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to admin here, go to posts, and then we will just delete the post that's here. Same thing with pages. Find the pages tab, delete the page. Okay, so that gets rid of the content that's on there. Now the next thing we should do is set up our categories. So let's go back to posts again. And if we go to categories, we can set up the categories we want. Okay, so the categories we're going to use for starters are videos. And then we'll add that one. And articles. Now we can have further definitions below these. So under articles, I'm also going to have recipes, since I'm making candy. So we come down here to category parent and we go to articles. So you can set up your tree however you like it here. So I'm going to start with these. We have recipes and we have videos. And I think that's all we need for this particular blog. So what we're going to have is we're going to have video content and we're going to have written content as part of our blog. This is what's going to keep people coming back. Okay, then the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to settings and set a couple things up in here. Okay, we already did this main page here. Now let's go to writing. Okay, now in here, what we can do is add to the update services. These are the pinging services that will be notified anytime a post is made to our blog. We're going to have automatic postings and manual postings, so it's important that we update this list. I've given you a large list of ping services that you can open up and paste them in here. Okay, so here's the list. So all you do is just copy this whole list. And then we just paste it down here. So paste over top of the one that's in there because it's already in the list. And save those changes. Okay, next we need to go to reading. Okay, and then if you want your article feed to be full text or summary, what this is for is if people subscribe to your blog by an RSS feed and read it with an RSS reader, you can determine whether they're going to be able to get full text or summary text here. So that's up to you. It's actually proven that full text will actually get you more traffic to your blog, believe it or not. You would think that summary might because they'd only be able to read a snippet, but that just tends to annoy people. But it's up to you. You set that either way you want. And here we have the number of blog pages that can show at most on one page. And the syndicated feed, how many posts it shows on there for the most recent post. Okay, so save any changes you make there. Discussion, this is where you can determine if you're going to allow comments. Okay, I suggest that you uncheck the first one at least. I usually uncheck the first two. Now, here you can determine if you want people to be able to comment. If you don't, uncheck this one. If you do, leave it checked. And then down here, you can determine how you want this to work. And you can set up how you want the comments to appear, whether you want them to be moderated or just to appear on your site. I suggest that you have them held from moderation. That way you can be sure that if somebody's just trying to spam your blog, that you can catch it and not have to worry about it getting up there if you don't want it. Okay, so I always check these four here if I'm going to allow somebody to post. Now down here, you can automatically hold things in moderation depending on words that are in the comment, and down here is the same thing, but you can actually blacklist them for having the same words in there. And down here we can have avatars if we want, and you can set them up the way you want them there. Okay, so save any changes you made there. Okay, now privacy, make sure that it is visible to everyone. So if it's not set to that, make sure that you set it that way. I skipped past media because there's nothing we really need to worry about in here. You can take the defaults, which resizes the thumbnails to 150 by 150, and it gives a medium size for the same pictures and a large size. So if you want to change that, you can, but the defaults work fine. Permalinks, this is very important. What this will do is it will allow you to customize the way your URL looks, and it shows you a good example in here. Normally your URL on a page will look like this at the end. I have a question mark, P equals, and the page number. Whereas if you use the custom structure that I'm going to show you, what will happen is it'll have the title in the URL, so you get a keyword-rich URL, and this really helps in the search engine listings. Okay, so check on custom structure and then paste in the following term, and you'll see this term in the resources document. Okay, so it's category and post name. So we set up a video category, so our videos are going to go in there, so we'd have our URL / videos / the name of the video post, which is the title. Okay, and we save changes there. Okay, now you'll notice that some code appeared down here. We actually have to go and change our .htaccess file. So copy all of this. Now what we're going to need to do is go into our cPanel and edit the htaccess file. Or what we can do is we can use our FTP program and download one if it's already there, modify it and re-upload it, or we can create one on our own computer and then we can upload it using FTP, whichever is easier. Okay, so here's making candy, and there is no .htaccess file in here. It would be right at the beginning of the file, so we don't even have one. So what we can do is we can just open a notepad session like this, paste our content in there, then we can save this to our directory and we'll just call it htaccess. Now If we already had a .htaccess on that site, we would have to download it and then modify it and re-upload it, but there isn't one there right now. Okay, so we can close this. Now let's go find it on our local side here. There's our htaccess.txt. So let's upload that. And then we need to rename it. So just rename it. Get rid of this .txt off the end and put a dot at the front of it. And now we have a .htaccess file. Now, let's say that when we came into FTP, we saw that there was already a .htaccess here like we see now. What we could do is download it. Just right click on it, download it to our computer, and then we can go into our folder here and find .htaccess. There it is there. We can open that with, and WordPad's fine. Okay, and then you would make the change in here and save it, and then re-upload it. It's as simple as that. So basically just download it, add this code to the one that's already there, save it, and re-upload it over top of the one that was there. Okay, so now you would do this and upload it. It would tell you it already exists, and you would let it overwrite. And you would have your .htaccess file. Okay, that allows everything to work properly as far as the permalinks are concerned. Next, miscellaneous. And there's really nothing you have to set in here. This just determines where our uploads go to on our blog. Or you can give a full URL path, but you can just take the defaults here. Okay, we've already done all-in-one SEO and WPO-matic. Will be done when we start adding content. XML sitemap we've done. So the next thing we need to do is go to appearance and set a couple things here. Let's go to appearance. And then let's go to widgets. And widgets simply determine what content is on the sidebar. Okay, and now on this particular theme I have 4 sidebars. Let's go have a look at the site here. Okay, this is one sidebar, and now remember there's content that's supposed to be here, but we deleted it. This sidebar's over here. So that's sidebar 1, and then we have 2, 3, and 4. So this is what it looks like by default, but by setting widgets we can change that. Okay, so really the only thing we're going to be showing on our sidebar will be our categories. So move to categories. Okay, so this will show, in our case, videos and articles with recipes underneath it as we posted them. So that's all that's going to be in this category tree. Now I suggest that you show the hierarchy here like that. You can show the post counts if you want as well. Okay, so save that, and then you can close it so it just collapses like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to want to show is the most recent posts. Okay, so grab a hold of that one and drag it up into this space as well. And then you can set the number of recent posts you want to show there, up to 15 on this particular theme. We'll save that and close. You're also going to want a search on here. Now you can determine where you want that on your sidebars. I'm not actually going to use sidebar 2, 3, and 4 on this theme. I'm going to just leave it as it is. So I'm going to put my search bar actually in this block. Okay, and then I'm going to move it up actually to the top. If you're allowing comments, you will want to put the comments in here as well. If you're not going to allow comments, then there's no need. Okay, so put the comments in there. And you can set how many you're going to show. We'll save it and we'll close. Okay, so our blog is all set up the way we want it now. In the next video, we're going to go over monetization and content. Okay, now it's time to add some content to our site. The first thing you need to decide is if you're going to have a static home page or if you're going to make it in the style of a regular blog. In other words, you can have a home page like on any regular site that gives them some information, or you can have it in blog style where your most recent post shows at the top and it just goes in post order after that. It's entirely up to you how you want to do that. So if you don't do anything here as far as setting up a home page, then it's going to act like a regular blog and your posts are all going to show up in a row down the page as people roll through. Now if you do want a home page, what you're going to have to do is go and create one first. So go to Pages, and then you're going to have to add a new page. Okay, this is where you put your home page. Now you can create a home page even if you're going to use it in blog style, because you should have a page that tells them about your site that they can click on along the sidebar if they wanted to find out more about you and your site. So you just put what you want on this page. It's just like a word processor. Put your title in here, put any content you want on the page down here. Okay, so I just created a quick home page like this, and then you can just tell it whether you're going to allow comments or not. I'm not going to on my home page, and that's all I need to do here. So we'll publish that. Okay, now what we need to do is if we're going to have a home page that's going to come up when people visit our site, we need to go to Settings and we need to go to Reading. Okay, now this is where you can determine if you want it to act like a static home page. This is where you do it. Just click on Static Home Page and then click this for your front page. Okay, and save your changes. That'll now be the page that comes up when people go to your site, just like that. Then all your posts and categories appear down the sidebar, but this will always be your home page. Now if you don't do that, if you take the static page out and you just use your latest post, it'll act like a regular blog. So I'm just going to leave it like that now. Okay, so now that we have a home page, it's time to start adding some real content. Now the first thing we're going to do is set up our automated content. Remember, this blog is going to include automated content and content that we create ourselves or have created and put on the blog. This has got to be a good blog. It cannot be all automated content. Otherwise, you're just copying somebody else's work and it's not going to be interesting for people. So you need to come up with your own content, or you have to have somebody write it for you. And it's not that expensive to have somebody do it if you don't want to do it yourself. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add video content, and that is going to be our automated content. Okay, now we're going to add automated video content to our site. This is going to help us because it'll make our site interesting, and it's also going to keep the search robots coming back all the time because our content's going to keep changing all by itself. Now on top of this, we need to add textual content, articles, or in this case it's going to be recipes on this blog. Every once in a while, every week or so is probably fine. So this takes a lot of workload off you by automating part of the content. Now, to do that, we finally have to go and set up WP-O-Matic. So click on that. Okay, and then we just go through the setup process here. So we have to test SimplePy. So to do this, you just run this test. So just click on where it says this test, and it comes up and tells you if your server is up to date enough. Okay, and as you can see, everything is fine here. Okay, so we can close this window. Now, if you have a problem there, you're going to have to probably change your server, or you can try and install it and see if it works. Most of the time, you're not going to have an issue. Okay, so let's click Next here. Here, it's telling us about our time, and this is the UTC time, and this is our local time, and if our local time is correct, then we don't have to worry any further. So we can click next. Okay, here is our code for setting up our cron job. Cron job is a job that runs automatically on the server and will populate our content for us. We don't have to worry too much about that right now. We're going to come back to this. Just say, check it, I'll be using a cron job for Unix like cron. Okay, so we'll just continue again. Click next. And that's really all we have to do. Now, you click submit. And we're back to the dashboard. Okay, now this is where we start adding campaigns. So just go to add campaign. And this is really so easy to get videos to come in automatically. You're not going to believe it. All we have to do is we have to, first we'll set up the front end here. So let's say our first videos are going to be on making sugar-free candy. Okay, you don't have to set anything else there. The next thing is feeds. Now the good thing about this is you don't have to go searching around for feeds. I'm going to show you how you can get one to do this automatically. In the resources document, you will see this document called YouTube RSS text file. And all you have to do is copy this, paste it into here, and then just change where it says keyword to the keyword you're looking for videos. Make sure the .rss stays on the end there. So we're going to put sugar free candy. Okay, next we go to categories, and we're under videos. Now what we might want to do here is do a quick add, and we're going to put making candy for this one. Okay, and we'll fix this in a little bit here, but we'll leave that as it is for now. If we go over here to rewrite, this allows us to take any phrase and change it to any other phrase. And we don't really need to do this for this particular site when we're using this plugin. Okay, so let's go to options now. Now what we need to do here is set this to how often we want it to fetch new posts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to every 6 hours. Okay, and that's usually a good standard to use. You could use every 12 hours. You don't want it to come too often because you don't want your blog to look spammy. So set this the way you think you want it to work. This will retrieve videos 4 times a day. Okay, next we want to use the feed date. So that's the date on the feed. That'll be the date of your post. Okay, we don't want to perform pingbacks. We want a published post. The author, you don't have to worry about that. Max items to create for each fetch, and we have 10 here, and that's probably fine, but you can set that the way you want, but don't do too many. Post title link to source, leave that blank, and then whether you want discussion on these or not. Okay, we're going to leave discussion open on the videos on this site. That's up to you again. Now, up here we have custom post template. Click on that. And then under content, we need to put in the link to the actual video, and we're going to say watch the video. So what we do is we put the permalink. You can see here we have permalink. So we'll copy that and put it here. Okay, and then we have to turn this into a proper link. So what we do is href equals permalink. Like this. Watch the video. like that. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to create a clickable link to the video after it puts the content of the feed on there. Actually, we should probably have double quotes around this here. It'll work without them, but it's proper way to do it is like that. Okay, so we have our options set now. Now all we have to do is click submit. Okay, and you see here that it gives us an error, and that is because we have spaces in here, and spaces need to be put in as %20. That is a space in a URL. So put %20 where there are any spaces there. Okay, there we go. We'll click submit. And there it is. Okay, and then we can continue. We can add some more. So let's say sugar-free chocolate. And then go to feeds. Again, we put our feed URL in here. So we can copy this in. Actually, sugar free chocolate. Okay, and then categories. Chocolate. And nothing in rewrite. Go back to our options. Send this to 6 hours. And then we will use our feed date. And we'll not allow pings. Okay, so that one's ready. We'll submit. Okay, and we just continue like this. We can add a few feeds now, and then we can come back and add some more later. Okay, so that's how you do it. If we go back here to campaigns now, you'll see that we have two campaigns set up, making sugar-free candy and sugar-free chocolate. Okay, now what we can do now, let's go fix these categories. If we go back to posts and we go to categories, see we have chocolate, and we could put chocolate underneath making candy here. So let's edit this and let's put it under making candy. Okay, and then let's put that whole thing under videos. Okay, so we have videos, making candy, and chocolate. Actually, we probably should have that just under videos, I guess. You can put these however you want. I'm just going to put chocolate under videos. Okay, so that's how we can fix our categories here if we decided to add some while we were going and setting up our videos. Okay, so that's all set now. Okay, now what we can do is we can go and we can fetch those manually right now just by clicking on the fetch button in campaigns. Let's go to campaigns. And if we click on the fetch button, it's going to fetch the posts for us and bring them in. Let's fetch the first one here, making sugar-free candy. Okay, it brought in 10 posts. Okay, let's go visit our site. Okay, and here's our recent posts. Okay, now if we click on the links here, let's click on the first links. Okay, it brings in, oh, we have a little problem here. I didn't get that syntax right. There's a space there. So this didn't come out as a clickable link. Okay, so this isn't going to work the way we want. So let's go back and fix that. Just go back to admin here. Let's reset this. Let's edit. Okay, see that space there? We should have an A there, like that. There. Okay, well, now we'll submit. And let's go and fix the other one, because somehow we missed that. Okay, somehow we don't have anything in here. Okay, so let's just copy it from the other one. Okay, so copy this. And we'll paste it into this one. Make sure you have that checked. Okay, that looks correct now. Submit. Okay, we'll go back to campaigns. We'll try it again. Let's fetch this one this time. Okay, it fetched 10. Let's go look at our site. Okay, let's go look at our first post here. And you'll see now we have a link that says watch the video. And when we click on that, it'll take them over to YouTube where they can watch the video. Okay, so that's how the automated content is added. Now we have to set up the automated part. And again, we probably should add categories above the post here. But you'll see that now we have chocolate and making candy underneath our videos. Okay, so all these categories work. If we click on the chocolate category, okay, then it brings up our post in order as we see here. Just like that. Okay, so that's the automated part of our blog. Now we have to go and set up the rest of the automation now. So let's go back to the admin area. And we have to let's go to options. And what we have to do now is get the cron ready URL. Okay, so just copy this. And now we have to go to our cPanel and we have to set up a cron job. Okay, so what we have to do now is log into our cPanel. Okay, and then we go to cron jobs. If you don't have cPanel hosting, you will have a way to set up cron jobs. So let's click on that. And then we'll click on standard. And I already have some set up in here, but go to your first entry. And in here, first of all, paste the URL in. Okay, and then go back right to the start of it here. Okay, and then I'm going to paste some characters in front of here with a space. Okay, so we have curl, and then a space, a couple of dashes, silent, a space, a couple of dashes, compressed, and a space. I have included that for you in the resources document, so you don't have to remember it. Just make sure it is before your URL, your cron ready URL. Okay, and then we set this to every 6 hours for fetching, so we want to also do every 6 hours in our cron job. Now we just save our cron tab, and that's that. Our video content is now completely automated. In the next video, we will continue with our content setup. Okay, now we're going to talk about posting our manual content, which is going to be our textual content. Okay, so what we need to do is just go posts, and then we're going to add a new post. And now this is really self-explanatory. There's not much to show you here other than what you need to do in your posts. Now remember, keywords are what's going to get you the traffic. By putting the keywords in the post title, it also ends up in your URL. And by putting the keywords in your text down here, it also helps with search engines. And then also you want to put in tags. Okay, so make sure you post your tags in here for your post. Okay, so I'm going to do one on making candy corn. Okay, so my keyword that I'm going for this post is a candy corn recipe. So that's exactly what I put in the post title. Down here, I'm going to make sure that my post has candy corn recipe in the first sentence. Okay, so here I have this candy corn recipe. Okay, and then I continued with my article. And you'll find it in here a couple of more times as well. Okay, and then over here, we need to put in our tags. So we put in candy corn, comma, candy corn recipe, making candy. Okay, we add, and there our tags are all in there for us now. Down here, we pick our category. Now we have recipes, and then if we wanted to put a category under it, we could add a new category here, but that's good enough for now. Okay, down here you can decide whether you're going to allow comments. It is set as the default to allow comments. And down here, if you want to change the title or you want to add some keywords, you can do that down here as well. So let's add candy corn. This is the all-in-one SEO pack. Candy corn recipe. And making candy. Okay, and then just go back up here and publish. Okay, and now if we go and view our site, we have recipes, okay? And there is our candy corn recipe shown at the top of our recent posts. And there it is. Okay, so that's all I really needed to show you about putting in your manual content. Now, you probably want to put some manual content in there every 2 to 3 days if you can, but at least every week. Don't let it go any longer than that because you want some content that isn't being auto-generated in here, and it's also going to be unique content. Okay, so that's it for adding the content. Now let's get to the monetization part of our blog. Okay, now that we have our blog up and running and we have content on it, we can start monetization. Now, if you already have sources to monetize it like AdSense and CPA offers, you could actually do that at the same time you're creating your blog. However, if you have to apply for these programs, it's better to have the content up first, at least some of it, like we've done here. I've created the blog so that it is ready to put content on, and then I could go and apply for AdSense or CPA offers, and I could put my affiliate links on here. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have the most luck when I put AdSense and CPA offers on a site. I don't have as much luck with selling things off my site as an affiliate. So you can do it either way you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I use effectively. And that is to use AdSense and CPA offers. Okay, so you can apply to these programs just by pointing at this site. That's all you have to do. If you need to apply, just go and set up a Google account, apply for AdSense, and then for the site, just point to this site. And same with any CPA network that you want to apply for. I suggest Max Bounty for that one. There's a link for that in the resources document. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get your monetization on here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some AdSense on first. So sign into your AdSense account once you have one. Okay, so go into AdSense setup, then go into AdSense for content, and we're going to put a couple of blocks on here. So first we're going to do an ad unit, and we can do text and image ads. Okay, let's continue. Now colors, what we want to do is we want to try and blend our colors in the best that we can here. Okay, so let's go back to our blog. Let's bring it up here. Now first we're going to put an AdSense unit right in here. So what we want to do is get this background color here, and to do that we can go to the style sheet. So if we go to appearance and then we go to editor, okay, and when we come into our editor we're at the style sheet, and this is where our colors are defined. So what we want to do is go down here until we find our sidebar. Okay, so just copy the color code in here, leave the pound sign behind, we don't need that, and then go over to our Google AdSense side and put it in the background part. Okay, so here where it says background, just paste it in there, and there's the color. Okay, we can also change our title links to add, and I'm going to change these to black. Border, going to make the same as this. Text and URL, make black as well. Okay, so there's the block that I'm going to use. It's going to look like that. And then we just pick the size here. Okay, now first we're going to put one down the side. Okay, a vertical block. So we'll do 120 by 240. Okay. Now we can just continue. And here we can add a channel if we want. Let's add a new channel. And we'll call it Candy. This just helps you keep track of your clicks. Okay, we'll continue. And we can give it a name up here if we want. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. If we want to make a new name for each block, we can do it there. Okay, here is our AdSense code. Okay, so let's copy that. Let's go back to our theme here. And now let's go to widgets. Okay, and we're going to put an AdSense block along the sidebar. Okay, so all we have to do is find a text widget here. Let's bring this up and put it underneath posts. Okay, and then just paste our AdSense code right in there and save. Okay, now let's go have a look here. First go to dashboard. That way you don't accidentally erase what you just did. And let's have a look here. Okay, this is where our AdSense content will appear. Now the reason it isn't appearing now is because it will take a little bit of time for the AdSense system to know that it is supposed to put something here. So it'll take a few refreshes before anything will show up. Okay, while we're waiting for that to appear, we could put another AdSense block in here if we want as well. We could put a rectangle block or a banner across the top here on our home page. So let's go and do that. Let's go back and we will create another ad here. Okay, so we'll create another ad here. And we can just do this on a single page. It's a little easier, I think. Okay, so then again here, we set up what we want here. So we're going to use a medium rectangle. And here we're going to put in our colors again. So our border and our background are this color. Text and our URL were black, and our title was black. There we go. Okay, so there's our ad unit again. And we can select our channel, and that's it. We'll submit and get code. Grab this code. And then what we're going to do, if we go back here, we're going to want this, wherever we're going to put it on our home page, we can just do it by editing the actual page code here. And we can switch this to HTML. And if we want it on the top, we can just place it right there, like that. And publish. Update the page. Let's have a look here. Okay, this is where our AdSense code would appear. Okay, you'll see this code is now appearing down here. And we could have matched it to these colors here. Let's try again here. Might take a couple times of refreshing for the code to show up. Okay, while we're waiting for this, let's put a link unit in. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's get ads. We'll add the link unit here. That stands for content. And then go to single page. Pick the link unit this time. And then we'll pick the size here. Okay, and then again, we have our border color, our link color, and our background color. Okay, we could actually change this link color to be the same color as the links on our site, and probably should do that. Okay, we could also set our fonts a little bigger here as well. Okay, so again, we'll add our channel in there, and we'll get our code. Okay, grab this, come back here. Let's go back to administration here. Let's go to widgets again, in appearance, widgets. Okay, and then let's get another text one. Okay, let's paste our code in. Save. Okay, now let's click on dashboard to make sure everything gets saved. Okay, and our link unit will show up right in here. Now what we should do is we should change the text colors on both of these. So if we go back to our style sheet again, let's go back to appearance and editor, and then if we find our sidebar and link colors, so roll down till you find your sidebar. Actually, no, we don't go to the style sheet. part of the sidebar, what we need to do is come to the top and look for the link parameter here. Okay, so where we see this A, that's our link color, and this is it right here. Okay, so let's go back to AdSense here. And let's change our link color to that. And as you see, they are red over here now. And let's save the settings. Okay, let's also do the same thing with this one. Change the link color. And the text color. So they match. Same with this one. Should probably change the title too, I suppose. Okay. Okay, so we got all those matching now. If we go back, the changes may not show up right away. Let's see. No, not yet. Okay, so there it is. I actually changed this. I decided to put a banner on the top, and I moved this one down to the bottom. So we have this ad unit up here because it's not so intrusive. We have the bigger one underneath. We have our link unit over here, and we have our other AdSense unit down at the bottom there. Okay, so we put that code right on the pages. Now you might also want to put it where your posts are. So if you go to your post, you might want to have your AdSense show up in here as well. And to do that, all we have to do is modify the template and put the same code on there. Now to do that, what we can do is we can go to our cPanel. Then we'll go to the File Manager. And to where our blog is, public HTML and making candy. Then we go to WP-content. And then we go to themes, where our theme files are. Okay, and then our theme is this one, 79. Now we have a couple places that we can do this. We can do it in the single, which is our single post. So if you click on that and you edit the file, here is the code. Okay, now you'll usually see a loop of code like this, if have post dot post. Okay, so what it does is it loops around in here and puts out the post content, and then down here it puts out the permalink in the title, and the content is down here. So right underneath the content and right above the content, you can put the same code that you have here. So above the content you can put this AdSense code, and below the content you can put this AdSense code. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go get the code. Let's go into the admin area here. Let's go get the code from our page. Okay, so this is our banner code. So let's grab that, do a copy. And let's go over here, and right above where it says the content, we'll paste that code in there. And then right under that, we'll paste the other code. Let's go back to our blog here. Grab the code from the bottom now. Do a copy. Go back over here. And then right under it where it says the content, we'll paste that code in here. Okay, we'll save. Now if we go look at one of our single posts, let's go back to our site. Let's click on this link here. Okay, there is our AdSense code at the top, and this is our AdSense code at the bottom. And of course we still have it on our sidebar anyway, because the sidebar shows everywhere. So that's how you can get your AdSense code all throughout your posts. In the next video, we'll continue with monetization, and then we'll go into how to get traffic to our site. Okay, let's go look at a couple more ways that we can monetize our site. Now, I mentioned CPA offers through Max Bounty. This is a really good way to do it. When you apply, just point them to your site that you just created. You can just, in the comments, just tell them it's a new site and you're new at CPA offers, but you want to get started. You won't have any problem getting accepted. Okay, then what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to search for offers. So we'll go to search campaigns. And then you can go through here and do a search, but wherever parameters you want to use up here. Okay, so it doesn't really matter whether you have any of these checked, because we aren't going to use this. We're going to be strictly promoting from our blog. But over here, you can go and you can pick a category, and this is going to help quite a bit. So the ones that convert the easiest are the email submits. So if we click on that, we'll just do a search campaigns. And then we can go and we can find some in here that might work for us. Now, unfortunately, email submits are also the lowest paying. So see if you can find one that fits in with your site. Okay, so I'm going to put on this. I'm going to look at this Halloween candy survey, and it'll bring up some information for us here. You can click and you can see what the merchant is offering there. Just by clicking on that, you get the page that they will see. Okay, and it's a simple email submit. Enter your email, choose your favorite candy, and submit. That's all there is to it. You get paid if they do that. Okay, here's the terms over here. No incentivized traffic, no email submits, no email marketing, and then you can use these other ones. So that's okay for us. We get $1.10 per lead. So we can go down here and we can get our text link. Okay, so I'm just going to get this tracking code here. It pops up a little window for us. I'm going to grab this and copy. Now, I can put this on my site anywhere I want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it so it shows up on every page. And I do that exactly the same way as we put our AdSense code on there. So we go back to our cPanel, File Manager, and then we make our way to where our site is, which is making candy. WP-content, themes, and do our theme single. This is exactly where we did our AdSense code, and we can edit the file. Now maybe instead of this top block, we want to remove that and put our CPA offer in there. Or what we can do is we can just put it underneath the AdSense code. Okay, so put a couple line breaks in and paste the code in there and save. Okay, now let's go have a look here. Let's just refresh this page here. Okay, there it is. Vote now to get $100 worth of candy free. Okay, so it shows up, and it will show up on every post, just like our AdSense code. Now we'll probably also want to put that on our home page as well. So we go to our site admin, go to pages, edit our home page. Okay, so we'll decide where we're going to put it. Let's put it right above the image here. Paste our code in there, and we'll update the page. View the site. And there it is there. Okay, so that's how you can sneak your CPA offers in there. You might want to find one more to sneak in there as well. Maybe put it inside the front page somewhere, or underneath this ad, or above this one. Okay, now the next thing we can do is put in here an affiliate offer for an affiliate product, such as maybe a cookbook or something off ClickBank. You can do this if you want, and it's easy to do. We'll just go and get our hop link from a ClickBank product. We'll go to the ClickBank marketplace. Okay, and then we'll find a product. Let's see if we can find one that fits. Okay, so here's a couple down here. So I'm going to do this. Start your own home-based candy bouquet business. So all we have to do, well, you'd look at the pitch page, of course, see what it looks like. If you like that, just go ahead and get your hop link here. Create hop link. Put your ClickBank nickname in here and a tracking ID if you want, and create. Okay. Okay, so we'll grab this hop link, copy it, and now we can put this on our site. Let's go to the back end here. Let's go to site admin. And we go to appearance, widgets. Now we want to put links over here. Okay, and we're going to put that here. Save. Now what we need to do is go to links. You need to delete all of these that are in here now. So delete and apply. And now we need to add a new link. So first let's do a link category. Let's create a category called recommended resources. Add the category. Then we want to go add new link. Okay. And here we put create your, let's paste the web address in here first. Okay, then let's go back and get the description from here. We'll copy this. Copy. We'll paste our description in here. There we go. Okay, click on recommended resources there. And click _blank here to open in a new window. And then that's it. Now we can add the link. Now let's go look at our site here. Okay, so there's our Google link. Here's our recommended resources with our affiliate link, and we click that. It opens in a new window to our product. Then we keep going down here with our AdSense and so on. Okay, that's it. Our site is now all monetized, and we're ready to start sending traffic to our site. And we'll go over traffic generation in the next video. Now we're going to talk about getting traffic to your site. Now this isn't going to be as difficult as you might think. First of all, we've already optimized our blog for the search engines. Secondly, we've set up a big ping list, so every time a post happens, it goes out and it pings all those pinging services, which will bring traffic and web spiders. Okay, now what we need to do now is ensure that we get some real traffic. That's going to get us some traffic started, but let's ramp it up a little bit. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to burn our feed using something called FeedBurner. So we'll go to feedburner.com. Okay, now FeedBurner is now part of Google, so if you have a Google account, you can automatically get it, FeedBurner. So you can just sign in with your Google account, or you can create one right now and sign in. Of course, if you have an AdSense account, you already have a Google account. So let's sign in here. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to put the URL to our feed in FeedBurner, and we just do it right here. And all it is the URL to our site. So in this case, it's thebestinfo.info/making-candy/feed. That's all it is. So your URL/feed is going to be your RSS feed. So we'll put that in there. Okay, click next. Okay, it verifies it, comes up and brings in our feed title from our blog. Also, we have a feed URL down here. So it's our feed address is making candy the easy way all jammed together .feedburner.com. Okay, so we can either change any of that if we want. If we like that the way it is, we click next. Okay, so there is our feed URL there. And we can click next now. We can do a little more configuration. And we'll just click click-throughs here so we can track how often people click back to our site. That's all we need there. We'll click next. Okay, and then if you come down here, we see self-hosted WordPress says use this plugin to help direct your feed traffic through FeedBurner. Okay, so click on that. Okay, we'll download the plugin from here, and then we'll install it on our blog. Okay, so download, put it on our, we'll put it in our directory here. Okay, let's extract this now. And now we'll upload it to our site here, into our plugins folder. Open up FileZilla. Okay, so we're in our Making Candy directory. We go to WP Content and Plugins. And we go over here, find our FeedBurner directory. Yeah, we'll just upload the plugin in this case. Okay, now let's go back to our blog here. Go to plugins. Let's activate our FeedBurner feed here. Now we go down to settings. Click on FeedBurner. Now we put our FeedBurner feed in here, so let's go back and get it from FeedBurner. Okay, so all we have to do is right click on a little symbol beside our feed here, and then we want to do copy link location. That's in Firefox. Okay, and then we'll go back here and we'll paste that in there. Okay, we'll save. And that's all set up for us now. Okay, now we want to put a subscription button on our blog, so we'll go back to here. Click on our feed here, go into its dashboard. We want to go to Publicize, and click here on Friendly Graphic. Okay, and then we're going to use the standard button here. This is all we have to do is make sure that's clicked. Come down here, grab this code, copy. Let's go to Appearance, Widgets, grab a text widget, bring it up here, paste our code in there and save. Okay, and then go and have a look now. There is subscribe to the reader. Okay, so that's what we need to do with FeedBurner. Now there are other reasons we did that. We get the benefits of FeedBurner, but we also now can use the FeedBurner feed to direct traffic to our blog, and that's what we're going to do now. Now we're going to submit our FeedBurner feed to a couple of RSS directories. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to set up one more stream of monetization, and that's called AdSense for feeds. So we have to go and sign back into our AdSense account now. Okay, so click on the AdSense Setup tab up here, and then go to AdSense for feeds. Okay, and then you can pick here text or image ads, and then frequency, each feed item, every second, every third, or every fourth feed item. That's just when the advertisement will appear. And then you can pick the post length where you want them to appear. Post of any length, 50 words, 100 words, 250, or 500 words. We'll just leave it at any length. Where you want the advertisement to appear, at the bottom or at the top of the feed item. And then you can have AdSense optimize it for you, or you can make the colors yourself here. Just let AdSense do it. Here we can have a channel if we want, just like the channels we used in AdSense for content. And then down here we have to add our feed. Okay, so we're going to add this feed. So we just click on Add. Now we save. Okay, and now our ads have been added to our feed for us automatically. You don't need to do anything further. We'll now have AdSense in our feed. Now if we go back to our blog, and let's click on Subscribe in a Reader and have a look at our RSS feed. Okay, now you see all these spaces here. This is where our AdSense code will appear. And when people are looking in a reader, that's what they're going to see. They're going to see the AdSense code right underneath where we have watch the video here. So we now have distributed our AdSense code throughout the feed network when people subscribe. So that's a really powerful way to get some more monetization out there using AdSense for feeds. Now what we're going to do is help distribute our feed throughout the feed network, and we're going to submit it to a couple places. Now before we do that, if you look now at our RSS feed, you'll see that we now have AdSense code throughout our feed. Okay, so there's two places we're going to submit our feed. First is one called Feedage. You go to feedage.com, and then you have to open a free account here, and then you can submit your feed. So go ahead and sign up if you don't already have one. If you do, log in and then submit your feed. Okay, after you've signed in, just click on Submit Feed up here. We select our niche. So just pick the one that fits the best here. Go with recreation. Then we submit our FeedBurner feed in here. We just click Submit. And that's it. Now the next one we're going to do is called FeedEgg, and you don't even need to sign up for this one. And there is a link to this in the resources directory. Okay, so just down here, click Add Your Feed. Down here, we'll paste our feed in. Now here we can put some tags in. So I'm going to comma separate mine here, and I'll put in the appropriate tags for our site. Okay, and then we just enter the number they have here, and we save our feed. There, it's now been saved. Okay, so that's going to help us in the search engine, and it's going to get traffic from the feed directory, so that helps a lot as well. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to submit it to a couple of other places. What we're going to do now is submit our site to StumbleUpon. So you need to set up a free account at StumbleUpon. Okay, so you need to set up a free account if you don't already have one. Just click Join StumbleUpon up here. Now just set up your account. Okay, so fill all that out. Click Join Now. Okay, and then you can get an add-on for Firefox. And this is a good thing to do. If you install this, you can click the I like it button and stumble your own site. And that's the first thing you're going to do, is stumble your own site. So get this if you don't already have it and install it. Now once it's installed, it looks like this. Okay, so here it is. We have Stumble, which will stumble through sites. I like it, which you're going to click when you get to your own site, which will stumble it. Then the traffic will start up from just doing that. Okay, so let's go back to our own site now. Okay, then we just click on this, I like it. Okay, it pops a little window up here. Verify you're a human, so just key in these characters on here. Click verify. Tell it it's safe for work. And there it is. You've now stumbled your site, and now as people go through and click on stumble, it'll appear in their choices. They choose categories as to what they want to stumble. Okay, now the next place we're going to go is to Dig, and we're going to submit our site here. So just join Dig and then submit your site. It's as simple as that. And then every week or so, submit a page of your site and submit one of your articles every week as you put them in there. That way you're going to start getting a lot more traffic just from Dig itself. Okay, so I've logged in here. I'll submit. Okay, so we submit our site URL here. There we go. Okay, so it brings in information from our site, and we can change it here if we want to. We can choose a thumbnail. Now we choose a topic. Okay, here's our preview down here. Now we need to put in this code, make it so that the site knows we're not a robot, and then submit our story. And there it is, we're submitted to Dig. Okay, so any original content you put on your site, every time you write an article, you should submit to Dig. Okay, we've now got everything done that we need to do to our blog. All we need to do is continue to update it with manual content. The video content is going to happen by itself. The traffic is going to happen by itself. We've optimized our blog for search engines, and we have submitted the feeds. We've created a feed burner feed, and we have submitted it to Dig, and we will continue to submit it to Dig and StumbleUpon. So all those things are going to get you lots of traffic, and you will make money when you get traffic. Since we laid our blog out well and we apply the monetization to it, can't help but be a profitable blog. Now the other thing you can consider is to sell your blog once it starts making money as another source of revenue. Now make sure that you use a single domain for your blog. Don't use a general purpose domain if you plan on flipping your blogs. That concludes the series on making money blogging.